Hello, everybody. I'm your host, Eric Bird, here at StopStrugglingNow.com. And tonight, no way out, Americans. That's right. Costs are rising. Investing may be the only option now because you cannot avoid the price increases. No way, no how. Let's talk about it because solutions is what we need now. And welcome to the SSN Nation Financial Friday Night Live Stream. Stop struggling now, gear. Check. And please like, subscribe, and click the bell below so you get the latest updates. Now, let's get to it. All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I want to thank you so much for being here. Please share the videos because you never know who's out here looking for information. We have valuable information. I'm starting off the live streams till the end of the year with findhelp.org. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, findhelp.org. For men, women, children, all kind of help is there, from caregiving to bus passes, to subway passes, to medical, to job training, to anything that can help you. Down payments on homes subsidized because nonprofits funded by the federal government and state agencies help give you free help in 90% of the cases. Not all are free, but you got to make the phone call. You have to be proactive. Go see it. Findhelp.org, put in your zip code and look to see what available services are for you. That's right. So let's get on with the rest of it, shall we? The stock market. Of course, everybody hears about it. They see it rise. They see gold and silver rise and other precious metals. And are you thinking you should be involved? You should be involved. No thinking about it, ladies and gentlemen, because any disposable income that you have right now, you need to make investments. Investments is necessary. I'll start off something because courtesy of Brian P. sending me bad news. October 16th. That was just yesterday. Nestle to cut 16,000 jobs. 16,000. That's right. You heard me. This is not a typographical. This is not, I'm not misspeaking. 16,000. So Navratil. That's right. Company raises cost savings target 3 billion Swiss francs. Remember what I always told you. When there is a problem with profits by corporations, the first people to go, OCs, ordinary citizens, because you are the most costliest item on their list, employees. So you're the first to cut before they will cut their CEO's pay. All right, let's just get things straight. So that's what they're talking about. 5.8% of Nestle's workforce gone sometime in the next year and a half. 2027, by the end of 2027. 1 year, 3 months. If you guys been around, what have I told you? 1 year, 3 months is what you have to make sure you have a 775 credit score. Make sure your debt is low as possible and your credit score is at 785 or 775 in our case and up. That's what you need to have in 1 year, 3 months. Just saying. Just saying. And it just coincides with them. And you know what they get to save? they get to save 3.7 billion. You can do a lot with a billion. 3.7 billion after they get rid of 16,000 people in the next year and a half or thereabouts. So just letting you know, US imports tariffs are a headwind for Nestle. Just saying. All right. Despite the bulk of the company's US sales being manufactured locally, while food producers across the board are grappling with fragile consumer confidence and changing habits as people seek to eat more healthy, it's coinciding. The price of goods and services going up has fallout because now people say, well, hey, hold on. Maybe I shouldn't buy this little extra chocolate pieces. Maybe I shouldn't buy this candy. Maybe I shouldn't buy the Nestle products because it's not really healthy, like they said. And health is wealth. As you guys very well know, this is what I always say. Because if you're going to be sick in America, most people that watch this, if you find this channel outside the United States, please let me know. 99.9% of people only see this in the US. Nobody hardly sees this around the world. But the point I'm trying to make, 99.9, that's crazy when you start really thinking about it. So when you really start figuring this all out, your health is your wealth. And in America, you may not have health care. There's going to be a chopping block going on. Medicaid, Medicare, it's starting to chop. They're going to raise the work before you get Social Security even. They're going to raise that. It's going to keep going. There's no way out. Unless, of course, somebody showed up and they cared about reducing the deficit, reducing inflation. That would be great. But unfortunately, we don't have that right now. And we're not going to have it for another 3 years for sure. So, just saying, ladies and gentlemen, you're going to have to make investments if you want to make this work. All right. DIM Pals must be loving life based on his investment strategy. Welcome to the SSN Nation Financial Friday Night Live Stream. And let's see his tagline this evening. Good evening, Eric. I got a problem. Smash that like button. Thank you. Give it a one piece. I appreciate it. And the market is like a big thrift store right now. Keep buying nonstop. Exactly. And the thrift store is actually going to get a little better, I believe, because we have a lot of things going on. Now, I have something going on in the background, which I didn't realize. My computer's not even plugged up. I mean, it's plugged up because I'm on, but it could go out here if I don't start paying attention because I just realized electricity is missing. We don't have electricity going. So I got to figure out where is the electricity at. So I'm going to play a little live stream, but DIM Pals, I know you are doing the salsa dance because the volatility of yield max ETFs must be great for your market strategy. And those of you doing the salsa dance for receiving some dividends from the Yield Max ETF crowd. They started doing weekly payouts for almost all of their ETFs. So a lot of people should be doing the salsa dance this week. So I'm very happy for you. Hopefully their stock prices don't continue to drop like a rock. That is the problem. It has triggered another one. My Pelletier got triggered. Once again, you guys know, I keep saying, no sense in going down below what you purchased these stocks for because you have been winning. Make sure you take some profits from your stock and those dividends that you have secured, those are in your hand. No sense in dropping down, losing your overall dollar amount you invested just because you want to get 70% or 60% return when in fact you'll have a net of a lower return if you allow your stock price to drop below your dollar cost average. So, very, very happy to see you once again. Thank you so much. Keep buying nonstop. Exactly. The funny thing about it is there is no way around this now. We are now like the EU zone, where either your families have to have centuries of assets or you're going to be on the outside looking in. And fortunately for a lot of people in the EU zones whose families go back a couple centuries, they traditionally have the assets. Now, everybody else that shows up, they're just hard working, ordinary citizens, the OCs. Same things happening in America. We are getting close to a class system, the haves and the have nots. And if you want to be one of the haves, you're going to have to act like the financial geniuses on top of the pyramid. You have to invest like they do, but they have special treatment. This is true. But you're going to need to be in the game, because if the game stops, guess what? The rich guys start taking L's, and they're going to continue to start taking L's. You know why? Because we have a situation where they can't pay people enough to buy their goods and services. People don't have money left over. It's getting shorter and shorter. 20% of the population has disposable income. 80% live paycheck to paycheck during each and every month. So think about that. That is a huge pendulum that has shifted. This is bad. The amount of wealth in the hands of a few, and there is no such thing as trickle down. So therefore, you have to act like you're the CEO of your life. And yes, we do have some gear, CEO of my life. You can get it at stopstrugglingnow.com. Our memberships are now back open as well. And everybody, I should remind you, findhelp.org. Put in your zip code in America. All right. James Way, another investor in the house. Welcome to the SSN Nation Financial Friday Night Live Stream. And he brings his tagline this evening. Hello, all. Glad to be here. Thank you. Glad that you're here. The rent is too damn high. That's why I got more crypto this week. Keep investing. And by the way, thank you so much for bringing up that crypto. You know why I say thank you so much? Because it did drop below 110. That's right. 109. That's right. 108, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know what it is right now. But all I know is this is incredible what is happening with crypto. It's acting jittery. When the stock market goes down, it started going down. That leads me to believe, you know who? The wealthy have their hands in this, because it should not be going down when the stock market goes down. I do not like that. That's not a good trend. I like the trend of gold. That's what I like. I like when there's mayhem in the streets and people started protecting their dollars, they went to gold and silver, pushing them to all-time record highs. I don't want Bitcoin, Ethereum going down when the stock market goes down. That means it's mirroring the big boys. We don't want that. But you still have to take advantage, because 25% annual return with cryptocurrency, specifically Bitcoin, year after year after year. And I shouldn't say return. I don't want to really say there's a return, because unless you sell, that's the only way it's a return in my book. So it's went up 25% year over year on average. So when you see it come down, James Way is exactly right. Where are you buying? Because that's what you should be doing. You should be doing that post haste. Now, I don't know what I did here. I logged into something else. I was trying to go to the back office. But very happy to see you, James Way. Thank you so much for being in the house. MDA0214, welcome to the SSN Nation Financial Friday Night Live Stream. Another investor is here. And he says you can use the drip calculator and see you don't come close to those returns with YMAX, ULTY, SLTY. He's exactly right. He's exactly right. This is what happens because their distributions are so high. They're taking the profits or the money that they make, and they're also giving all that away, plus share buying money away. So it does come down. There's only a few that were able to stay above board. And again, PLTY even tripped my wire. So therefore, my dollar cost it, well, like I told you guys, at one time, They were a little above their stock price versus what you could buy it at all-time lows. Well, they keep dropping. And that's one of the things when you have high dividend returns, because they're not really actually even a company. They are using option trading to give to make the buyers of the stock and a dividend. It's that simple. They're just trying to distribute, and they're in by return, they're giving a high return, but their stock price fluctuates. That's why DIM Powell said, you know what, I'm going to do option trading with that because they fluctuate so much, which is not a bad idea versus holding these things like MD0214 says. That's how you got to do it. Why, Max? You would have a 20% return from 2024, 2025, but ULTY would have lost you money. Exactly. So that's exactly why for seemed like a year and a half, 2 years, we always kind of stayed focused on pricing. Dividends are nice, but the stock price itself, you had to pay attention. And when there was a dip before, there was a huge dip in Yieldmax ETF funds. So you could have been below your dollar cost average. But what's been happening for the last 4 months, 5 months maybe, is the stock prices for Yieldmax ETFs are dropping. And then there's a spike one day, 2 days, and then they drop. And then oftentimes on Wednesday night, after hours, because Wednesday nights, if you're holding it before 8 p.m., then you're going to get dividends on Friday. So a lot of people started buying sometime up until Wednesday night. Then they dump them afterwards. And then when they dump them, the price drops sharply. So a lot of people started doing that. All right. So I got to get this real quick and I'll be right back with you guys. All right. Come on, come on. Come on, come on. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back. Thank you so much for waiting. And EV Place is in the house. Welcome to the SSN Nation Financial Friday Night Live Stream. And he brings his tagline this evening. Another investor's here. Good evening, everyone. I hope you all are doing well. Yes, man, we're doing great. You're here. Adds to the mix. So, once again, I've been studying. Speaking of this EV Place, he invests in the stocks, the real estate. He does it all. And so, therefore, that's what we're going to have to do, ladies and gentlemen, out here. But I've been doing a little more studying on that Forex trading. In fact, I was with somebody today doing futures trading. And oh my, there's so much to learn, but they showed me some other things. And I was like, are you kidding me right now? Again, I don't know the proper terminology because it's all new to me. But all I know is these guys are sitting there going having things on their screen that gives them a graph of areas that the stock prices stay in. And I'm sitting there looking at these indicators like, are you kidding me right now? So I'm sitting over here in MT4. Now I come to find out these guys that I'm watching are have trading view and they pay annually. And I'm sitting there like, oh my goodness, I didn't realize. And I see all this, the screen's different, everything's totally different, more indicators, better opportunities. I got to give credit again. MDA0214 said, go over and study. And I couldn't believe it. They started talking about these names of these indicators. And they said, and I was like, wait a minute, I heard these names before because I've been studying. And I'm like, I don't believe this. And then, of course, it's kind of disturbing. Actually, it's not really disturbing. It's happiness. Disturbing as in happy. All of a sudden, I see all these people. They're doing live trading, live. And I'm seeing 1,000, 800, 1,500. And now I'm not talking about in any, maybe 10 to 20 minutes. Profits. I'm sitting there going, okay, these guys know what they're doing. I see the charts. That's what I'm talking about. I finally was seeing live from some other trade. And when they were using TradingView, I was like, wait, so you guys can just click on this, this, and this, and it's already done. A sell, a buy, a stop loss, a limit. And I was just like, this is incredible. MT4 is like some sort of child's play stuff. So anyhow, that was very helpful. So now I have to up my game. It looks like I might be in this game, MDA0214, EV Place, all the rest of you guys that do those option tradings, post-retirement travel, the wheel strategy. I don't know about that yet. Haven't ran across that yet, but we'll find out. So I just want to let everybody know it's awesome. And I was thinking about it when I'm sitting there looking at this, and I said, you know what? The stock markets around the world is always going to be ticking because that is the wealthy billionaire, millionaire boys club. That's how they create money out of thin air. They have to have stock market. So I'm sitting here like that means any person that can learn this, you'll be able to make money. It's unbelievable. I'm sitting there like, oh my God, MT4 is banned for US customers unless they recently changed it. I use Ninja Trader. Yeah, no, I use it right now. It's not banned. But it's like a little kiddie thing. It's not when I was watching these guys on TradingView, I was like, wait a minute, I have to go in, click something on MT4 to do stop loss and all that. These guys are just hitting things. Boom. Look, here's my stop loss right now. Here's my limit right now. I'm like, what do you mean right now? They're just clicking here, limit done. Close a trade, X. I'm sitting there like, oh, this is crazy. And it tells you your profits on the screen, unlike MT4. I have to look down and it shows me. It shows you in the trade how much. Boom, boom, every tick, or I don't know what the words they use, but I call them ticks. So every little tick that goes up or pips, it's like, my God. I was like sitting there like the whole screen, the indicators were all lit, looked exactly I was watching something today. What was I watching? I can't even remember what it was. It wasn't gold and USD. It wasn't XAU USD. They were doing futures, and I can't remember what futures it was. But it was unbelievable because they said, oh, the highs and the lows already sits. Then they said, see this right here? It should go. And I said, yeah, the next candle. And it was below the 100 EMA. I mean, above the 100 EMA was the chart going up. And I said, well, they go, oh, I missed it while they're showing me, right? And I said, well, it's not too late because the 100 EMA is still below the chart that's going up. I said, I used to play poker. And they go, well, I don't know if I should enter right now, even though they've traded, but it already went up a significant amount. And I said, you know what? I said, here's the thing. I used to play poker, and here's how no limit kind of works. Once you understand how the person that you're reading or the person's in the hand, and you determine that your hand is ahead. So you've already determined it's already higher than the 100 EMA. So you said that was a good thing according to all these traders. So I said, well, why are you not? It's still green candles, lighten up. I said, you should just, if that's what you believe and that's what you're trading, and it was still below the high in the sessions back or whatever, how that, I didn't understand that yet, but they'll get, it was below that. I said, so it meets all the criteria. So you're telling me that's, it's going to rise. In fact, I've been studying, it's going to rise. You should get back in. Okay. So she got back in, and in less than 3-4 minutes, $900 profit. And I was like, yeah, I got to learn this. This is crazy. And all those indicators I saw when they were using TradingView, I don't see on MT4. So I'm like, okay, it looks like I'm gonna do something different. So it'll be interesting. Just check Google. It says they unbanned it and now it's just restricted. Well, it's heavily restricted. Well, I'll put it this way. I don't know what it's supposed to look like. All I know is when I was looking at TradingView, I'm looking at a whole different setup that makes it where you can do things a lot faster. And I'm sitting there in disbelief how easy they're just, and of course I've never seen it before. So they're moving and they can just bring all kind of things right at their disposal on the same screen. And speaking of brokers, Ninja Trader, they could actually have more than one broker on the screen, or two screens up, different brokers, or even more than that. I was like, hold on a second, this is crazy. Then come to find out, they said, oh yeah, you got to pay for TradingView. I was like, okay, what's this? Jerome Powell in the house? Oh my. Yo, man, you haven't called me on what you're going to be doing about this federal funds rate. So we'll have to talk next week. Okay, that's a long-term comedy skit I've been running. But welcome, Jerome Powell, to the SSN Nation Financial Friday Night Live Stream. And very happy to see you in the house. Well, Jerome Powell, I'm glad you're here. Make sure you make that phone call, man. I need to know what's happening. I know you're going to cut the federal funds rate. I know you're going to do that, right? You know that's detrimental. That means inflation. That's inflationary. That's not good. So I already know what's going to happen. You don't really have to call me this time. TradingView is not MT4. It's a charting platform. I use TradingView mixed with Ninja Trader. Yes, well, you understand what I'm saying. I'm using MetaTrader 4. But TradingView, yeah, Ninja Trader, what is the other? These guys had a list of traders. I remember something on the screen was simple enough. 8, Apex. I mean, TT Trader. I mean, I saw all kind of stuff. I'm like, this is crazy right now. But anyhow, I don't know what you guys call them. All I'm saying is, as the new guy, I'm liking what I saw. All right, let's see. Jerome Powell's in the house. No rate cuts for the rest of the year. Gold to continue all-time high. Hey, Jerome Powell, if you start saying no rate cuts, then we know what that means. I love that you went with the all-time highs on the gold and silver, because that's exactly what would happen. Drop for crypto to continue. Uh-oh. Enjoy the cheap prices. Back to saving the economy. I like that. I like that, because that's exactly what would happen. Well, thank you. I'm glad you didn't have to pick up the phone this time and let me know. So I'm glad you actually came here ahead of time, because wait a minute, isn't there going to be some sort of meeting in the next 7 days? I'm glad you came ahead of time to let us know, because if there are no cuts, then we know what's happening. You guys got to get some more gold. That's what you have to do. Got to be trading some of this, because this is crazy. Thank you so much, Jerome Powell. Very happy to see you in the house. The best way to learn is the blank screen, just candlesticks. The candles will tell you everything. Indicators should only be used for verification. Yeah, well, that's kind of funny, because that's what I've been using, was candles only. And then I said, you know what? Let me see what this RSI thing is. Then I started looking at and then I said, oh yeah, it does show oversold or undersold and it coincides. I'm like, okay. But you're exactly right. That's why I felt confident today, because when I was looking at the indicators, I was looking at it gave it like the double towers at the bottom, and then the next one was lit a long green. I was like, okay, that was a long green one. We know it's rolling. And then it rolled. It just kept going up and up and up and up. And I'm like, holy smokes. And because we were talking, she didn't get in. But like I said, I can't tell how long it's going to ride. But when I saw the one, they had the 100 EMA on there. So I said, hey, it's above there and it's still rising. It already rose. I was like, you should just get back in. Like I said, the poker analogy. I said, you know, you're going to win. And the session highs, it was still well below that. And they had a bar on the top and it was well below. And I was like, well, then you have all you need. What are you afraid of? This is what you said is the thing that works. So go for it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it looks like I'm back. Excuse me, we're back after the blackout. It's all my fault, though, quite frankly. It's all my fault. So I'm sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. All right, we're getting back to it. Getting back to it. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it looks like after the blackout, we might have an issue. So I might have to start a new stream in case this does it again, unfortunately. So thank you so much for being here. And we will see what else we got going on here shortly. But I want to point out Joe Nay's in the house. Another investor's here. Welcome to the SSN Nation Financial Friday Night Live Stream. And he brings his tagline this evening. What's happening, everybody? How is everybody this Friday? You know, everybody's doing good. They're here. I'm happy you guys are here. And I All right, ladies. All right, ladies and gentlemen. I'm gonna have to see you guys on the live stream. I'm gonna have to cut this, so watch for the new one. Please join me. I'll be back in about 5 minutes on a new stream. So watch for it.